Welcome to ABX Reviews. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a powerful double episode of Inimba that has left so many storylines at a breaking point. From devastating confrontations to dangerous plans being set in motion, these episodes had it all. Let's break down the 10 key scenes that defined this dramatic installment. Scene 1: Zoleka's vicious confrontation with Thumeka. Zoleka visits Thumeka at the Kusala tech office and launches into a cruel verbal attack. She tells Thumeka that she is nothing but a kangaroo who carried children for the Mabandla family, declaring that Hlathi will never marry her and that she has wasted 20 years of her life. Scene analysis: this is the emotional core of the episode. The scene is a masterclass in using dialogue as a weapon. Zoleka systematically dismantles Thumeka's sense of identity and belonging, targeting her deepest insecurities. Character motivation: Zoleka is motivated by a deep-seated bitterness and jealousy over Thumeka's place in Hlathi's life. Her goal is not just to hurt Thumeka, but to completely break her spirit and drive her away. Deeper issues explored: the scene brutally explores themes of family, betrayal, and the societal weight placed on marriage and legitimacy. It questions what it means to be a mother and a partner when formal recognition is withheld. Scene 2: Thumeka's emotional breakdown with Hlathi. After Zoleka leaves, a shattered Thumeka confronts Hlathi at home. She weeps, asking if after 20 years and 2 children together, she is destined to remain just an unpaid mistress forever. Scene analysis: this is the heartbreaking fallout from the previous confrontation. Thumeka's raw emotion contrasts with Hlathi's more pragmatic, defensive response, highlighting the gap in how they view their long-term relationship. My reaction to the scene: this was incredibly difficult to watch. Thumeka's pain was palpable, and it raises urgent questions about why Hlathi has resisted marriage for so long, making his character harder to sympathize with in this moment. How characters are developing: Thumeka is moving from a state of quiet acceptance to one of active distress and demand for change. Hlathi, however, seems stuck, prioritizing external crises over this foundational relationship issue. Scene 3: Hlathi rejects the Kusala tech contract. Hlathi receives a call from Takalani congratulating him on winning the Kusala tech contract. Despite his financial needs, Hlathi immediately refuses the offer upon learning Zoleka is the CEO. Scene analysis: this scene creates a major professional dilemma. Hlathi's pride and past trauma clash with practical business survival. The pressure from Takalani, who represents logic and opportunity, adds to the tension. Character motivation: Hlathi is motivated by a refusal to be under Zoleka's power or to engage with someone he clearly despises and views as toxic. His past with her overrides all current business sense. What will happen next? The pressure is too great. I believe Hlathi will be forced to reluctantly accept the contract, setting him on a direct collision course with Zoleka, which will only worsen the strain with Thumeka. Scene 4: Sydney plots sabotage with a hacker. Sydney meets with a skilled hacker named Dice, who was recruited by Sydney's father. Sydney convinces Dice to create a hidden bug in a major client's banking system to make it seem like Kusala Tech compromised their security. Scene analysis: this is the setup for a major corporate thriller plotline. Sydney frames the illegal act as a noble effort to warn the masses, showcasing his manipulative skills and justifying his revenge plot to himself and his nervous accomplice. Betrayal: this is a profound betrayal of professional ethics and his employer, Zoleka. Sydney is willing to risk the company's reputation and client safety to achieve his personal goal. Greed: while driven by revenge, there's an element of greed for power and control here. Sydney wants to topple Zoleka and likely position himself to take over, showing ambition that has turned destructive. Scene 5: Core defies her father's ultimatum. Core's father confronts her for coming home late and demands she quit her job at Kusala Tech. When she refuses, he gives her a harsh ultimatum: quit or get out of his house. Scene analysis: this is a classic generational conflict between traditional parental authority and a child's career ambition. The father's rules are absolute, leaving Core with an impossible choice between her future and her home. Character analysis: Core shows remarkable strength and defiance. She is no longer a child who will blindly obey, indicating her growth into an independent adult, even if it comes at a great personal cost. Deeper issues explored, the scene explores the theme of family pressure versus individual ambition. It asks how far a parent should go to control an adult child's path, and what the true cost of independence can be. Scene 6, Kor and Iwandle's personal connection. At work, Kor and Iwandle share a quiet moment. They talk about their rural hometowns, with Iwandle inviting Kor to visit his family village in Kola, and they share a shy, flirtatious connection. Scene analysis. This tender scene provides necessary emotional relief from the high drama elsewhere. It builds the romantic subplot on a foundation of shared background and mutual understanding. How characters impact the story. This budding relationship offers Kor a potential source of support and happiness outside her fracturing home life. It also introduces a pure, positive storyline amidst the manipulation and betrayal. How characters are developing. Both characters are opening up and showing vulnerability. Iwandle is kind and steady, while Kor allows herself a moment of lightness despite her serious troubles at home. Scene 7, Sydney explains the sabotage plan. Sydney details the technical plan to his associate, explaining how the bug will log users out but allow remote access to move and hide funds, making it look like a massive security failure by Kusala Tech. Scene analysis. This scene raises the stakes by making the plan concrete and dangerously plausible. The associate's nervousness about committing fraud highlights the real-world severity of what Sydney is orchestrating. Greed. The plan is about more than revenge, it's about greed for a specific outcome, Zoleka's total professional destruction. Sydney is greedy for her downfall and is willing to risk everything to get it. What will happen next? The plan is in motion. I think the sabotage will initially succeed, causing chaos at Kusala Tech. However, the involvement of the nervous associate and the hacker Dice introduces variables that could lead to the plan unraveling. Scene 8, Hlathi justifies his priorities to Thumeka. When Thumeka brings up her marriage concerns, Hlathi dismisses them, telling her to stop looking for problems and to focus on the real issue, which is dealing with Zoleka. Scene analysis. This is a critical moment that defines their conflict. Hlathi invalidates Thumeka's emotional needs, framing them as trivial compared to his external battle. This widens the emotional distance between them. Betrayal. For Thumeka, this feels like a betrayal of their partnership. In her moment of greatest need, Hlathi chooses to focus on his feud with Zoleka instead of their relationship's foundation. Character motivation. Hlathi is motivated by a desire to control the external threat he understands, Zoleka, rather than navigate the complex emotional threat he doesn't want to face, Thumeka's unhappiness. Scene 9, Zoleka's final insults. Zoleka concludes her tirade against Thumeka by stating that for that matter, no man will ever marry her, and that her time has passed. Scene analysis. Zoleka's attack shifts from specific grievances to a generalized condemnation of Thumeka's worth and future. This is designed to inflict maximum, long-lasting psychological damage. Jealousy. Every word Zoleka speaks is dripping with decades of jealousy. She is jealous of the life and family Thumeka has built with Hlathi, even if she views its structure as flawed. Lessons learned. The scene teaches a harsh lesson about the lasting damage of words. Zoleka's poison isn't just about the past, it's carefully crafted to shape and cripple Thumeka's view of her own future. Scene 10, The Calm Before the Storm. The episodes end with various characters at a precipice, Thumeka in tears, Hlathi conflicted, Kor packing her things, and Sydney setting his digital trap. Scene analysis. This isn't one location but a narrative moment of heightened tension. All the major plots have been wound tightly, promising significant fallout in the next episode. Is the story strong? The story is very strong. It successfully interweaves multiple high-stakes personal and professional conflicts, making the viewer deeply invested in every character's next move. What will happen next? I predict Kor will leave home, the cyber attack will trigger a crisis at Kusala Tech, Hlathi will take the contract putting him in Zoleka's path, and Thumeka will make a drastic decision about her future with Hlathi. The stakes could not be higher.